Welcome everyone, Michael from Quality Classics, and the question today is, why buy one? That's the name of this video. If you'd like to ride along with me, we can have a discussion on that very topic. Let's go. These cars are just a blast to drive. If you've never driven a vintage Mustang Fastback coupe or convertible, take your pick. Right there in front of us is a K-code convertible, super rare, unbelievably special car. Just got that in, and this video is not about that car, but I'll be doing one about that car as well. But anyway, yeah, these cars are a riot to own, and that's why they've never fallen out of favor. They're just a joy. They're practical, they're simple, they're extraordinary for the time. Great power, just a great example of American ingenuity. Right car, right time, and they've stood the test of time. So I'm letting this thing warm up a little bit. It still hasn't come up to temperature, but we'll go ahead and head out and let it warm up as we drive. By the way, the green dot on these automatic cars is the dot that you need to be, your gear selector, that's where it needs to be set when you're driving these cars. That's the proper location for the automatic transmission. Drive the car in the green dot. Well, I've got the air conditioner running. You probably can hear it in the camera. It's not overly loud, but nonetheless, you may be able to hear it. It's been 105, 106, 104, probably 107 today. Yeah, it's August. It's in Texas. August in Texas, yeah, that's a brutal experience. I love Texas. I don't love August in Texas. I don't love July in Texas, and I often don't love September in Texas. Rest of the year, yeah, quite nice. So, in these vintage cars, vintage Mustangs in particular, like this one, if you've got air conditioning, you're fine. If you don't have air conditioning, you're just a little bit more selective about when you're in the car, especially a black interior car. But they vent pretty well. They've got the side vent windows. It's got the little pull vent under the dash. And yeah, you can get air in them. You can drive them. It's just a lot more comfortable with air conditioning, that's for sure. And we've got air conditioning in this one. Okay, we're motoring down the road at highway speed here. And yeah, she's doing beautifully well. Okay, so that's modern day highway speeds right there. She'll do it. She's got the power, no problem. But it's the gearing that they really need, and this one's got the gearing also for modern day highway speeds. I'm gonna turn around here and go the other way. I had mentioned in my initial video that the car needed some tune work of some sort, and of course we did that and much more. We addressed issues that were obvious and tried to identify issues that weren't quite so obvious, so that our buyer, the new owner of the car, would not have to address those issues. And so that's where the car is now. It's in a state of ready for on-demand enjoyment. And now she runs like a good little happy 289 should run. Yeah. It will accelerate when asked to. That right there is why people love that 289. Very powerful little motor. Yeah, Mighty Mouse. It punched way above its weight back in the day. And, you know, while not maybe fast by today's standards, it was very peppy back in 1965. And if you had a 289, especially one setup like this is like a day two setup. It's got the 4-barrel aluminum intake. It's got some headers on it, and yeah, it provides a performance that it exceeded the typical car easily. You know, notice that I have an aftermarket console, and notice that I'm leaning on it. Why? Because it's comfortable. You can't do that with a factory console, but if you get the aftermarket console that's designed to overlay the factory console, you can. So you get the benefit of both the cool look of a factory console, which was an option, but you get the additional benefit of the comfort of an armrest. Now that K-Code convertible I showed you a minute ago as we were pulling out, it's a factory bench seat car, split bench. It's got an armrest in the middle, same benefit. It's super comfortable. So if you've never experienced a bench seat Mustang, they're pretty rare. You'd be surprised at how much more comfortable it is than just a factory bucket seat. So while bench seat, somebody might go, oh, boo, hiss. Not me, or nor does anybody that's ever owned one dismiss it quickly, because it's more comfortable. And you put the split bench or the console down, armrest down, and it looks like a bucket seat car. So yeah, not only is it rare, it's very comfortable. This car is a super comfortable car, period. It's got power steering, it's got disc brakes, it's got air conditioning, it's an automatic. It's just a super easy to live with car. Really, they all are, unless they're overbuilt with aftermarket stuff, which completely changes and alters the character of the car. These cars are just pleasant cruisers. And they offer some excitement too. If their motor is in good shape, yeah, these little cars will go. They're a lot of fun. We'll get out here in a minute on the highway, and I'll go highway speeds. And I'll hit the accelerator and let it hit passing gear, and you'll see these cars go. They go really good. You know, I'm thinking back in 1965, for the fellow or the gal that was lucky enough to buy a brand new Mustang, how excited they must have been. Not only was it the hottest car on the planet, it was the hottest car that had ever been released in terms of enthusiasm and just people wanting and dreaming to own a Mustang. And so yeah, there were tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of buyers into the actual over 1 million by the time 66 closed production. You could get a coupe, you could get a fastback, and or a convertible. Fastback didn't come out immediately, but it wasn't too far behind. Yeah, it must have been a thrill. And I got to tell you, as a guy who sells these, to some folks, the first time, second time, or a third time around of owning one of these, they're just as thrilled as probably the folks back in 1965 when this little fastback came out. That's good power. Woo. That's very good power. So you get up to highway speed and exceed highway speed quickly. Great running little car. Woo. You can easily catch up with traffic and leave traffic behind. The Europeans, they didn't have anything like this. So for a European car back in this era to have this kind of performance, you need a Ferrari or something very exotic. And it'd be half as reliable, if that, cost 4 or 5 times as much money. And I love the interior of this car. This is a standard interior. It's in black, but all the appointments with the bright accent work that's in here and just the texture of the different components. There's a lot to look at, a lot to study. It's anything but plain Jane. You know, some people prefer the pony interior. I'm good either way. They're just great looking interiors with a lot of detail. You just can't get, in a modern car, you can't get metal. You can't get the components that you see in here. It's all extruded plastic of some form. And no, this car has character. It has bits and pieces that are real hardware that in the total, in the totality, make a really cool car. Love it. Well, let's see what temperature I'm reading here. I don't have the glasses to read this, so I don't know if I'm holding that the right way or not, but she's blowing good cold air. These little air conditioners from these vintage Mustangs are some of the best out there. They really cool the car. Well, that's it for the test drive. What's my opinion of this little car? Well, anything that has cold air conditioning I like already in the month of August in Texas. So let me turn this down so maybe you can hear me a little better. I'll even turn the car off. So my opinion is, well, I'm in love. I'm in love with any Mustang of this vintage, with these options, in this condition, with this much eye appeal. This car's got so much eyeball. This poppy red color is just to die for. It just screams, look at me. And people do. People look at this. I think they would look at this car if it were 4 shades of ugly primer. The body's so beautiful. But yeah, I think I love it. I can't help it. I've always loved these cars. From my very first little white Matchbox car that I got when I was a kid, when this car was released, to now, I've never fallen out of love with them. There's just so much about them that appeals to me. Really, I can't find any inherent flaw or design element that I think took away from the car. I think it blended into just a masterpiece. And of course, you know, who am I but one of millions of people that think that about these cars. So if you're considering a vintage car, consider a Mustang as your first vintage car or your 10th vintage car. They're the easiest to live with. There's a cottage industry that supports these cars in terms of parts. Knowledge is everywhere. Videos are everywhere. You can live with this car. You can grow old with this car. And the wonderful thing about it is while you have spent your money to get it, you'll still have your money. It's sitting there in your garage, and it can be enjoyed at any point in time. There's always a caretaker waiting for the car. Whenever you're ready to sell that car, the next caretaker will be happy to take it off your hands. And experience the roads of America in a car that can get you there with comfort and confidence and a whole lot of a million miles of smiles. Buy a vintage Mustang. And if we can help you at Quality Classics, that's the car we specialize in, you know, contact us and maybe we'll have something that you'll fall in love with, or maybe we'll be getting something downstream. But anyway, check us out often. Check out our website, qualityclassics.com. And if you like this video, please subscribe to this video, subscribe to our channel, and click like on the video. It helps my son and I make more videos. Okay, happy motoring. Adios. Francisco, I hope you love your car. I think it'll give you guys, your family, your friends, yourself, lots of enjoyment. It's a machine, you know, it's going to need love and attention. Give it the love and attention that it needs, and I think it'll love you and give you attention back. Happy motoring, Francisco. Adios.